guns. Or blasters, since it's Star Wars. Mind you, the shock from that control panel probably didn't help. The KX security droids are tough bastards. Yes, that's an official unit of measurement. They're able to take several hits from a lightsaber, that has the cutting power of a baseball bat, before dismemberment with a finishing move. As seen in Andor, the KX units are able to take several hits of blaster fire without being slowed at all, while the movie Rogue One shows them falling from just a single shot to the chest. Why is this? To get the simple and boring answer out of the way, these are works of fiction. If the writer or creative team of a production want a KX droid to shrug off several rounds of blaster fire like it's nothing, or comedically die in a case of mistaken identity, they're only going to be as tough as they need to be in any given moment. But if you're going to do that, you better come up with a good reason in the story and the lore for that to happen. So, what's a story reason for this? Could it be the KX droids were somehow weakened as time went on, and those produced later down the line didn't have the tough armour of the earlier models? Feels like a bit of an oversight on the Empire's part, so this doesn't seem feasible. Could the different coloured rings be an indication of armour strength? Red is weaker, yellow like K2 has is stronger? While this change only existed to begin with to subtly differentiate K2 from other droids, any differences in armour durability seems circumstantial. Could the Empire's weapons have increased in power over the years? Well, when Cassian fought K2, he only used his Briar rifle, while other people used Imperial weapons. And there's no evidence in lore to suggest the Empire's weapons were upgraded between shows and films. So, the factor to consider is the power of the weapons used against them. KX droids can take some punishment in the Jedi games, but this isn't a true indicator of their strength. It's in order to create something of a challenge against players, as even fleshy individuals in those games can take several hits of a lightsaber, while in reality they'd be sliced into pieces. In the live-action media, we get a better sense of a KX unit's true durability. In Andor, K-2SO was shot at least 20 times by Cassian with his Briar rifle and Willman with his own blaster pistol, not taking any serious damage from any of these shots. The droid that kills poor Enza Rylands takes at least one shot from her wielding an SE-14R light-repeating blaster. You jump to Rogue One and the KX unit patrolling Jeddah falls to a single shot from K-2SO, wielding an E-11 medium blaster rifle. Towards the film's end, K2 is shot in the back by an E-11, leaving a serious hole in his armour. A few moments later and he's properly ventilated with several more shots, before dying from a power overload as he smashed a control console. The fact the E-11 caused the same amount of damage to K2 as the droid on Jeddah shows there's no difference in armour strength between the red-ringed droid and the yellow-ringed Gorman massacring K2. Also note that K2 never gets hit in the same spot as the droid on Jeddah, which also shows that Jyn was incredibly precise with her shot. The E-11 rifle used by Jyn and most stormtroopers is simply a more powerful blaster than the SE-14R, which goes away to explain how it was able to take down a KX unit in Rogue One. However, blaster power varies from film to show to game, depending upon the decision of the production team or writers. One shot from an E-11 can send a stormtrooper flying, while a shot from a DLT-19D heavy blaster rifle can be shrugged off by Melshi in a jacket. Initially, I assumed he was actually shot by an E-11D, the Death Trooper's signature weapon. I also assumed that would be more powerful than a regular E-11, but it turns out the 11D was made for close quarters combat, per the lore. So when I was working with the assumption that he was shot by an E-11D, I was going to say that perhaps the blast power had dissipated in the distance from being shot to hitting Melshi. Except he's not shot by an E-11D, he's shot by a DLT-19D, which, according to Battlefront 2, is weaker than both the E-11D and the regular E-11. There you go, lore. During the Gorman massacre, we never see another KX unit felled, and if another is shot, it's too blurry in the background to make out what happened. Andor's finale does show K2 face off against ISB tactical officers, wielding a new blaster model that's yet to be named. Whatever these guns are, they were strong enough to penetrate their own armour, as demonstrated when K2 used Supervisor Hirt as a human shield. This does show K2 was aware the ISB rifles could cause him significant enough damage, necessitating using Hirt to defend himself, backing up the idea that these rifles and the E-11s were more powerful than the Imperial pistols and the Briar rifle, and totally flying in the face of false claims that K2 was bulletproof. Firstly, he's not getting shot by bullets, and secondly, he's vulnerable to blaster fire. Some also speculated his rebuild by the Rebellion gave him weaker armour, but as we saw, his armour would later react to E-11 blaster fire in the same way as the droid on Jeddah. Also, he wasn't shot in the same place as that droid, which seemed to be a kill shot, and it's not like he survived being shot up either, he was pretty much dead by the end. So, it's just simply the case that the weapons initially used against K-2SO were quite a bit weaker than the ones that would later destroy him, and he didn't magically get stronger when he was a bad guy or decide to use a Heat shield for the hell of it. Which is a credit to the writers and production team of Andor and Rogue One, who had enough attention to detail to pit him against weapons that would serve the purposes of the scenes they appeared in.